Hi, welcome to this episode of Thai Food. On this episode, I'm going to do my cheddar cheese crust that I've been making for quiche. I started doing this up in New York when I was staying at my parents' house while I was out working as an essential worker. And I wanted to share this with you on how to do it because it's really simple and it cuts down. It's kind of like gluten-free for those of you that need to do gluten-free. So what we're going to do is we're going to give a little spritz of oil. I've got this zesty garlic mist. Just adds a little garlic flavor into the quiche when you do this. Just give this a quick spritz like that. And that's going to help keep the cheese from really sticking to this. Although once it starts melting and everything, the oils in the cheddar is going to come out of it anyways, because that's what I'm using. I use a really sharp cheddar. Extra sharp or seriously sharp is what I prefer to use. And you just grate it, and I'm going to do about 4 ounces of this. So I'm going to turn my scale on. And I always put the pie dish on there so it zeroes out when you turn it on. And we want to put 4 ounces of shredded cheese into the bottom of this. Then we're going to bake it at 350 degrees. I've already got my oven preheated. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this, and I want it to be as close to 4 ounces as I can. That's why I'm using my scale, but if you want to just buy an 8-ounce block, cut it in half roughly and grate it, go ahead. That's what I did when I was on the road. You know, just kind of eyeball it. But it's going to melt right down, and you're going to bake this until it gets good and crispy, and then put your quiche toppings right on top and make your quiche. That's what I did. A little bit more. That should be good. There we go, 4 ounces. And I got enough for the rest of the quiche too. So, there it is. I got 4 ounces in here. We're going to pop this in the oven at 350 degrees for right around 15 minutes is what it should take. We'll check it in 15 minutes and check back with you. I'm going to pop this in. Alright, our 15 minutes has elapsed here. Let's just pull this out and check that out. And we are getting there. I'm going to rotate this. I'm going to do it for about another 5 minutes. We should be good to go. Set my timer here. We'll check back in 5 minutes. Alright, we're approaching the 5-minute mark here. Got 3 seconds on my timer. I'm going to go ahead and check this. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. That is a nice, beautiful golden color. I'm going to leave the oven on because obviously I'm going to bake a quiche next. But I want to let this cool down because if I put my quiche in this right now, it's going to immediately start scrambling the eggs, and I don't want it to do that. So you're going to want this to cool at least 15 minutes or so, and you can see the oil that it formed in there. And what I'll do is, before I put my quiche filling in this, I'm actually going to pour that oil into the quiche and help temper the eggs a little bit while it's still warm. So we'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to let this cool down. Okay, so it's been about 3 minutes. This has cooled off quite a bit. And I'm going to pour the oil into my eggs now to help temper them. Obviously it's not cool enough to touch by hand, so. This will just help impart some of that cheese flavor into this as well. And obviously I'm not going to get every little drip in there because I don't want to either. You know, I want to keep this oil on the bottom like it is. It'll help release later on after this is done cooking. And all I did was just help bring the temperature of the eggs up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and pour this in there. And as this goes in, it's obviously going to cool my crust off. Now this is just one of my quiche mixes. I've already done a quiche video, that's why I'm not diving too far into this one, you know, as far as the mixture goes. You can watch my previous quiche video and, you know, that'll give you a good idea of the mixture from there. Of course, normal fashion, I'm going to try to get every little bit out. There we are. And then I got a little bit of cheese left. I'm going to sprinkle on top as well. I already mixed some cheese into my filling also. Throw some on the counter for good measure. That's why I wash the countertop before I make a video. I know I'm bound to throw something on that. I'm sure you may have noticed from my older videos, this is a newer countertop. I got a little overzealous when I came home from New York. I had a 5-pack of pork bellies in a case, and the bag that they were in started ripping. And rather than drop them on the floor, I threw them onto the counter, and well, I broke the counter. Of course, that one was only about 3/4 of an inch thick. So this one's 1.25 inches, a lot nicer. Replaced it myself. Wasn't too bad. I found a remnant at the local countertop shop, and $200. They cut it, sealed it, rounded the corners and everything. I installed it. So I'm going to put this in the oven. We're going to bake this approximately 30 minutes or so, and we'll get back to you. And by the way, folks, I've been baking this on the top rack. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pull my quiche, even though it's not been 30 minutes, because it's cooked enough at this point. So it's just slightly jiggly in the center, and that's where you want it. You can tell I haven't baked much with my oven in a while because it cooks faster than I thought it would. Of course, I did have it on convect bake. So now, obviously, I'm going to let this cool down before I even try any. But this is my finished product here. You don't know if you're going to be able to see the crust here. Let me see what I can do here. It still looks golden and crispy. Probably can't really tell because of the lighting in here. But basically the toasted flavor of the cheddar cheese is going to be all throughout this quiche now because of that oil I put in there. And who doesn't like the toasted flavor of cheddar cheese? Well, somebody who probably likes Swiss or some other cheese better. Swiss would be another good candidate for this. That tends to be a little more oily in my opinion, but I think it would still toast up really nice and add a nice nuttiness to this. You could definitely use that for the crust as well. Just 4 ounces and repeat the same procedure in the oven. And there you have it. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you get notified when I post a new video. Look me up. I've got a business page on Facebook now as well. Hopefully looking to set up to start selling some barbecue sauce and something in the near future, probably a couple years down the road. We'll see. Yeah, so I've got my Twitter still, and I've got Instagram as well, and I will be posting a picture of this up to Instagram, so check it out. Have a good one.